What's up, everybody? It's Monday, February 22nd. Mr. Brewer here with your lesson guidance for today. Today, we are slowly inching our way towards the Civil War. Our focus today is 8.59, and that asks us to analyze the Dred Scott decision, the Dred Scott v. Sanford Supreme Court case of 1857. And it asks us not only to analyze it, but to look at the resulting split between the North and the South. And so that's what we want to focus on today. Of course, that feeds right into your one big takeaway. And you should know not only the issues of Dred Scott v. Sanford, this Supreme Court case in 1857, but what were the results of it? What were the rulings, and therefore what were the consequences of this Supreme Court ruling and Supreme Court decision? So look at that one big takeaway. And basically, Roger Taney, the Chief Justice on the Supreme Court at this time, he was very adamant. He said that, believe me, he says this, that in his ruling, he says that African Americans were not citizens and could not be citizens, and basically says that the Constitution never intended for African Americans, whether they were free or slave, to ever be citizens. And thankfully, that is a controversial issue. Thankfully, that ruling was overturned by the Reconstruction Amendments with the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendments. But, that actually exists. Sadly, that is the ruling in 1857. But like I said, thankfully, that controversial ruling is going to be overturned and nullified by the Reconstruction Amendments, the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendment. Now, also important in this case is in the ruling, Roger Taney basically says that Congress cannot rule against slavery, cannot regulate slavery in the territories. And so he says that the previous legislation, Missouri Compromise of 1820, he says that Congress didn't have the right to create that law. It was unconstitutional, and therefore Congress and the federal government doesn't have the ability to regulate slavery anywhere in the country. And that is going to be one of the final straws for the North, and as well as for the South as well. So we'll look at that. Make sure you read that one big takeaway. That's the way it is complete, as I kind of gave you a lot more information than was actually in the one big takeaway. But anyway, look at your vocab for today, legislation. So we're looking at a piece of legislation. Just know that legislation comes from the word legislate, legislature, which means has to do with making laws. And so legislation refers to laws or acts that are created by Congress. And then also you'll look at unconstitutional. That's a word we've had before. Unconstitutional just means something is illegal, meaning it is not allowed by the Constitution. So in the ruling today, Roger Taney rules the Missouri Compromise unconstitutional. Next thing, sue, S-U-E. That means to take legal action against someone, to say someone has wronged you and you take them to court. And then your last word of the day is justices. So when you're talking about Supreme Court justices, you're talking about Supreme Court judges. That is your vocab for today. Now, got one task for you today, and that task is going to be you got a Supreme Court close-up that you're going to look at, and I made a walkthrough video for those of you that need it. And so it should take you about 15 or 20 good minutes at least to complete this assignment. You should read it, and then you should think about those elements of the case, answer those questions, and then evaluate the case. And you should spend adequate time on this. So please make sure, if you need it, you watch that walkthrough video. That is there to help you. I'll walk you through every step of the case file, as well as the elements of the case, and then we also evaluate the case together. So I'm looking for some high quality work there. It needs to be that quality that I'm looking for. And that with any extra time that we have today, I've got Unit 1 quizzes review on there. Your benchmark is next Monday and Tuesday, and so I want you to work on that, review that. Took the leaderboard off. I just want you to drill and practice. Boom, 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 boom. Answer question after question, and your goal is to get 80%. I'm going to look at the report. If you don't get 80%, look at the answers at the end. So I at least want you to play it one time through so that you can see the correct answers. then use the correct answers that you have to play it again and try to get at least 80%. You should get 80% if you have the correct answer. So anyway, the more you do it, the more you see it, the more you hear it, the more you see it light up green or red when you get it right or get it wrong. That is all helpful and is all going to progress your learning. So make sure you do those things. On the right-hand side, make sure you look at those pictures. Got a picture of Dred Scott. Got a picture of Dred Scott and his wife, Harriet. I mean, Dred Scott, the case itself, she probably had more of a case for her freedom than Dred Scott did. And so anyway, there's a nice story behind that as well. And then also look at, I've got a picture of Roger Taney as well. I mean, look at that guy. Do you think that guy is going to rule in favor of African Americans? If you look at his background, it's most likely not, but then also it comes to fruition. He does not rule in favor of African Americans. Not a surprise there, maybe even just based on what he looks like. Then they got a couple of test questions. I want you to look at those type of test questions, assess your knowledge, see what you've learned today after you've done everything. Try those test questions, see what you can do. That's about it, though. You guys have a great day. Sixth period, you will be in Mr. Lynn's room. He's going to take care of you today as I've got to head out early today. So, guys, have a great day. We'll see you later.